We are back with, I think, the most violent episode of 2026 here. Movies You Missed Podcast, episode 220. Welcome, everybody. Get ready for some bloodshed. V, how's it going today?
I don't know. I think that Land Before Time and All Dogs Go to Heaven episode was pretty horrific.
Well, yes. However, that was animated. These are not animated. And certainly graphic films in their own right. But two completely different movies, however, both starring Josh Brolin.
Which I only caught after I started watching the second movie, and I was like, oh!
Yeah, same.
We didn't do that on purpose.
No, we absolutely did not. And we have discussed Josh Brolin a couple of times here, especially during Men in Black 3, and my movie this week has actually both young and old Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh yeah, so Jay is represented by both of those actors in your pick this week. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
God, I love talking about how connected Hollywood is and how everything just folds in on itself.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I look forward to discussing both of these movies. I love both of these movies, and I know, V, you are a fan of at least yours. I can't remember when you said the last time you watched my pick was, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed our double drop last week of 2 Hollywood epics and movies we fucking hate, and that was a very fun episode. Lots of laughs listening to that in the car, reliving my hatred for Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, and now we're back here for 2 serious films,
Yeah.
and a little bit of comedy in both, but more of human comedy and not necessarily written comedic moments. So we'll get into those shortly. We do not spoil the movies that we discuss here as well, which is a thing that we pride ourselves on, and we also are veterans of the entertainment industry, and being veterans, we love going to the movies. So V, I'm curious if you've seen anything in theaters or on streaming over the last week.
I just think it's funny that you think there's any element of comedy in either of our picks this week.
There's a couple of moments with the lead of both of these movies that are just kind of like chuckle moments. They're like, you know what? I would likely say the same fucking thing.
Okay, we're going to get into that.
Yeah, no, we definitely are.
But yes, speaking of new movies, you and I watched the same one this week, so I'm excited to get into that. And I believe you also watched one of the movies that I saw last week, so I think this is going to be a good discussion.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, that's for sure.
Well, why don't you go ahead, since I know you watched a couple more movies than I did.
Alrighty. I will start. I watched three full ones and about 15 minutes of another one. And the 15 minutes of another one is the one that you watched last week, because I actually watched it already when it came out in April. Amy and I watched it, and I didn't remember up until the moment when they go to the body cam footage and the friend of Mariah says that Colin Strickland was the friend. I was like, seen it.
How did you forget that documentary? It's so good and sad.
It was very good
Okay.
and totally twisted, and everything that the police had to go through to track down that fucking killer was, I literally, I just was like, I kept looking at Amy, I'm like, we watched this. And she goes, well, I did. And I'm like, no, we fucking watched this when this came out. And she goes, how do you know? I'm like, because she just said Colin. And I remember the whole thing about the girl finding her in the bathroom. And then it all literally came flooding back to me. So yeah, watch that one back in April. And I think I even might have talked about it on an Already Movie Scene back in April. So there's that one.
I mean, if you didn't remember it, it's not my responsibility to, so.
No, totally.
Yes.
And I didn't put it in my movies to talk about during our half-year review. So I completely forgot to write it down.
Well, it gives us another opportunity to mention The Truth and Tragedy of Moriah Wilson, a great true crime documentary on Netflix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much so. And I would put it on a can't miss because it's so out of control.
It is,
and it's a wild one for sure.
I can definitely be convinced to move it up a level to can't miss movies of the year.
All right. Well, we'll have that conversation when next year rolls around. So the other one I will talk about, actually, both of these you actually watched last week. I ended up watching Kidnapped, Elizabeth Smart.
Ooh, what'd you think?
That was absolutely infuriating.
It's very sad and very gross, but at the same time, she's amazing.
Yeah, no, she really came out of it completely different than what I thought she would. So that was pretty impressive to see. I remember when it all happened too. Like I think it was like 2002, 2003, and I remember just being it was just kind of in the back of my mind. I was in high school, and true crime wasn't like a major thing for me. I remember the Elizabeth Smart thing going down, and then I guess I just never really followed up with it up until now. So 2 decades later.
Yeah.
And the fact that it took so damn long to get that fucking guy to trial is unreal to me. I just don't get it.
Oh, that was...
This system that runs this country, I hope I never have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Elizabeth Smart, Kidnapped Elizabeth Smart, definitely a very good documentary. Not for the faint of heart, though.
No, especially because it deals with crimes against children.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's just so inspiring. It's such a weird mix of emotions. There's definitely a roller coaster because in the beginning you're just like, oh my god, this is awful. And then the second half of this documentary is just inspiring. And it's weird to say that about a true crime documentary, but that's why last week I said that this is good for people who don't normally like true crime, because I think the ending is... I mean, think of the other true crime documentaries we've watched over the last couple of weeks that are just straight up gut punches.
Yeah. The one moment when you know what? So infuriating. I watched this movie last night, so I'm very fresh on it. And the moment where her kidnapper and that weird looking woman, the pictures of these people. Oh my Lord. And there's a detective right there. And he's like, I need to see her face. And the detective is somehow convinced, like, it's against our religion for our daughter to show her face. What the... Oh, man, that detective's a moron.
Well, the one thing that I did forget to mention last week when talking about the documentary, though, is her little sister.
Yeah.
Just a hero. And
totally.
I love their relationship, and everything that they've gone through has made them stronger, surprisingly, because it usually just gives you a bunch of baggage. But yeah. That whole family I was so impressed by, and that's really what I take away from it.
Oh, sure. Yeah. And then I think you and I, this is the one that you and I both watched, the Toxic... love story or a love story, toxic, whatever, toxic story of love, toxic story of some toxic ass people.
Oh my
God. Amy and I were sitting in bed again. Watched this last night, still very fresh in my mind. Oh God. Oh my!
This is why I was looking forward to this conversation.
It was, it started teetering on the maternal instinct ladder. I was just kind of like, okay, is this going to be better than maternal instinct? It was not better. However, there were a lot of similar aspects.
Yeah, and
in terms of a lot of more of just like deception is what I'm going with
totally.
On this one. Not obviously certain things, but.
But the thing about this documentary that made me so conflicted, and this is why I wanted to talk to you about it, is that the first half of the movie, I'd actually the first 10 minutes of this movie, I'd remembered this case because it was so outlandish. And so I knew it was coming. I'm like, okay, do I have to watch this whole documentary? And we're halfway through. You think the case is over, and I'm looking at the time going... Wait a minute,
did the same goddamn
what's
thing.
Gonna take the second half of this documentary? Like,
yeah. Title cards come up. Amy looks at me. She goes, "Is it over?" I'm like, "I guess." And I push pause, and there were 47 minutes left. And I was like, "Oh, okay, we're in for it now." And they totally Tarantino you. They totally Tarantino'd that documentary, and that was awesome.
For a while there, I was like, okay, I really don't like reenactments when it comes to documentaries or true crime. Any sort of movie, if you have reenactment, I immediately think it's cheesy. I'm not a fan at all. And so the first half of this movie, I'm like, okay, this is really straightforward. And then the second half drops, and you're like, holy shit, this is crazy.
Yeah. It was absolutely outrageous.
One of the wildest true crime stories that I've seen from start to finish. And I'm very impressed with everything that was actually uncovered, because you know how that doesn't always happen,
totally.
Right?
Yeah.
But the first half of this documentary, I was like, man, I don't like this. Maternal Instinct did this way better. I get it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to recommend this to anybody. And then the second half of the documentary comes along, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm recommending this to everyone. This is nuts.
Well, yeah, it was certainly a wild ride.
It was a roller coaster. Yeah, so
it really was.
I will end up putting a toxic love story on my could miss list. It was definitely
I think it'll be could miss too.
Yeah, it was certainly worth watching as a true crime documentary. Like I said, Maternal Instinct did it way better for a couple different reasons, but still bonkers story worth watching.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Angela. My gosh, everything. Oh, well. Crazy.
Well, I'm glad we watched it together.
Yeah, me too. And the final movie I watched, ladies and gentlemen, buckle your seatbelts, bend your bows, shoot your arrows through 12 axes. I went and saw Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey in IMAX. Not 70 millimeter yet, but I saw it in IMAX.
Did you buy tickets like I suggested at least?
Yeah, you bet your ass I did.
Oh, good.
Going in like another week and a half. I gotta wait another week and a half.
No, I'm glad
but
you bought
I think either Thursday or Friday of this week, I'm going with Veronica's boyfriend, so I'm going to be seeing it at least another one or maybe another 3 times. It's I think it's worth it. It is certainly, in my opinion, it's definitely the best movie of 2026. It knocks Testament of Anne Lee and Project Hail Mary out.
That's a statement.
Yeah, it's number 1, and then I would say Project Hail Mary is number 2 now, because I did just recently rewatch that, and my gosh,
amazing.
It's so fantastic. And I think Testament of Anne Lee, while it is certainly my favorite performance of an actress so far this year, the movie is still fantastic. But yeah, it's these top 3 right now. Well, at least the 2 and 3 spot I think are going to change on and off between when we get to our recap. But I will say that the Odyssey, I couldn't care less what anybody thinks about the casting, because the casting is actually pretty fucking awesome. And I was really worried about Tom Holland, truthfully, but I thought that kid brought it home.
Oh no, he
massively
is massively talented. Everybody just thinks of him as Spider-Man, but no, he's been talented since he was a little kid.
I guess.
Have you ever seen The Impossible?
Yeah, I did, and I don't remember. It was so long ago, and I was really baked, so I really don't remember. But I did like Uncharted. I know a lot of people didn't like that movie. But no, Tom Holland was awesome. John Leguizamo was kick-ass. Anne Hathaway, oh man, she was. Movie ended, and Amy said, "I think that's my favorite Anne Hathaway performance I've ever seen." And
that's saying something, considering Amy doesn't like Anne Hathaway at all.
Amy does not like Anne Hathaway, no. And of course, we had Robert Pattinson. He was, as usual, fantastic.
Of course.
Corey Hawkins was in the movie. He was great. There was really no small role. You know how they do that every year, like no small role, like Hollywood Reporter and stuff. Everybody in this movie was fucking great. Hamesh was amazing. He was in Inception. He plays the guy that drives the van off the bridge. The practicality of the movie, the Ludwig Göransson soundtrack is hauntingly spectacular, as every other soundtrack of his is. And Nolan just, man, he's the man. The Odyssey is so fucking spectacular, and if you have not seen it yet, I highly, highly suggest you do that.
I'm certainly looking forward to it. I'm still recovering a bit symptomatic, and so I cannot stare at a screen for that long, especially in IMAX, because that's where I want to see it. But I am looking forward to it. Of course, it's doing super well, so I'm happy that it'll be in IMAX and other theaters for a while, hopefully, so I'll have an opportunity to see it on the big screen. But I'm really glad you liked it. Now, my question is, where does it rank on Christopher Nolan movies, though? Is it in the top 5?
That is a really good question.
That's something you're going to need to think about.
I think I will need to think about it, but I will say off the top of my head, because it's Interstellar, number 1 for me.
Of course.
And then Tenet and Inception battle for 2 and 3. Talking about it now, thinking about it, contemplating on it, pontificating, yeah, I would say it's in top 5 for sure. It likely will be battling for 3 and 4th spot for me as of right now.
Wow, okay.
There were some moments in this movie, just the way the camera was working, the effects, the practicality, the soundtrack. Matt Damon was so badass. And I know a lot of people are like, I was worried about Matt Damon. Why?
Never. I was never worried about. They need to watch The Martian if they've ever been worried about Matt Damon's
watch The Martian. Watch a Matt Damon movie, and you'll understand. Especially Eurotrip. But either way,
talented Mr. Ripley. He's
talented Mr. Ripley. Yeah, Good Will Hunting, Saving Private Ryan.
Been very talented.
Yeah, on a very high rise. Yeah, the Odyssey really worked me up, and when it ended, I was the only one at the theater that applauded, which kind of irritated me, but I looked at Amy and I was like, that was fucking incredible. It was incredible. It was absolutely, I just could not stop talking about it. Yeah, absolutely love it.
Well, I'm not surprised at all, and all of this discourse online I wasn't really listening to because it's Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, don't listen to the discourse online. The casting's great. It's, thumbs up, way up.
Great. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, so that is what I saw over this last week.
That is what we saw over this last week.
That's what we saw over this last week. Now I think it is time to jump back into this episode, the brutality of this episode. Vee, you kick us off with an intense piece of cinema.
I chose the very first ever Taylor Sheridan movie. Came out in 2015. This is Sicario.
Sweet. And what does Sicario mean?
It's actually an ancient Latin term that a lot of people from Jerusalem used to use when they were fighting the Romans, and then it made its way over to Latin America. And now in Spanish, Sicario means hitman.
Mm-hmm.
This film stars Emily Blunt, Victor Garber, Josh Brolin, Benicio del Toro, John Bernthal, Jeffrey Donovan, and Daniel Kaluuya in a pretty small role, but you'll recognize him from Get Out.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie opens up... They crank it up to about 11 within the first, 90 seconds of this movie.
Yeah, they do.
And then it doesn't stop. So please prepare yourself. This movie is, like you said, brutal. It's very realistic. It's intense. It's gory. And we open up in Phoenix with Emily Blunt playing Agent Kate Macer. She's an FBI agent. And she's been doing a lot of really cool kidnapping and hostage cases for the last few years for the FBI. She's pretty experienced, but mostly local hostage, intense standoffs, things like that. And she's actually about to step in it because this house that they're raiding, they think that there's hostages at it, but unfortunately there isn't. Instead, this is a house controlled by a cartel, and they have put over 35 bodies in the walls.
Mm-hmm.
I can smell this house when I watch this movie. It is awful.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely prepare yourself. This is a hard R. Both of our movies are very hard Rs.
Yes.
Gosh, I feel like we should have done a Disney movie episode after this one. But Emily Blunt, we've talked about her a couple times on this podcast because we love, love, love her in Edge of Tomorrow, the Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah.
Also Looper, another pick of mine.
Yeah.
And you'll recognize her from the Devil Wears Prada movies, The Fall Guy, Oppenheimer. She was great in Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
And once this raid is complete, Victor Garber, who plays her boss, who we love Victor Garber on this show. He's so cool. Yeah. He played Sidney Bristow's dad in the show Alias. He was the designer on the Titanic. He was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And he was Elle Wood's professor in Legally Blonde.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He's great.
Forgot about that.
I love him every single time he shows up, and he's really cool and seems to be really supportive of Kate Macer. And he brings her into this meeting after this raid, and there's a group of guys sitting around this table, and I really like this scene because as a woman, she walks into this room with a bunch of men in it, and they intentionally are keeping her in the dark about everything.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very interesting power dynamic, and it's a great example of just being outnumbered in a professional setting. And I really like how they wrote her character. Emily Blunt actually did a bunch of research before this movie started, and she followed 4 different female FBI agents, and they helped her create the personality traits that Kate Macer has, which is really subdued, especially compared to a lot of men who are really joking around and can be a little bit freer. And having to navigate that male-dominated field, it's very subtle. It's not a big part of this movie at all.
Mm-mm.
But as someone who has previously and consistently works in male-dominated fields, it was very nice to see, and I think that subtlety was there, and just another great aspect of this movie. So she's in this meeting with Victor Garber and a couple other guys, including this guy in flip-flops named Matt Graver, played by Josh Brolin, who's a consultant for the DOJ. And Josh Brolin has had a really interesting career because he started off in Goonies, his very first ever role. His dad is James Brolin. I've really liked him since he was a kid, and he had a really interesting career because for a really long time in the 90s, he was in a bunch of shit, like terrible, terrible things, including Into the Blue, which is a guilty pleasure of mine because it's a treasure hunting movie. But it's awful. I did talk about him briefly in Mimic, a pick for an October episode a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah.
But then with your pick this week, he had a renaissance, a resurgence for his career, and he has just been killing it ever since.
Oh, yeah.
He was in another pick of yours, American Gangster, and then he went on starring Milk, True Grit, Men in Black 3, which we mentioned.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember him in True Grit, but I don't remember True Grit really at all.
I really want to watch both the original and the remake because everybody likes to talk about it. The remake is so much better, and I always love the original because I watched it with my dad, with John Wayne, and so I need to see which one I think is the superior version. Especially because it's by the Coen brothers. So we do need to watch it.
Yes, it is.
Josh Brolin's also in another movie I'm going to pick in the future called Only the Brave. And now he's just straight up raking in the money because he's in Dune and he was Thanos in the entire Marvel universe. And so he appeared in like 12 movies. But he comes in as this very casual guy who seems to not really give a shit about anything that's going on. He's definitely one of these arrogant guys that comes in and is like, oh yeah, I'm in control, blah, blah, blah. And he asks Kate if she's willing to join his team to really look into what's been going on in Phoenix. And they've tracked this trail of these guys who put a bunch of bodies in walls down into Texas. And does she want to volunteer for this op that's going to try to find the real culprits of this? And she actually ends up saying yes. And this is when we're introduced to the badass of this movie, Alejandro.
Oh, yeah.
I love Benicio del Toro so much.
Oh, yeah.
I never think of him, and it's too bad because I'm happy every time he shows up in a movie.
Hell yeah.
He's
awesome.
So much to a movie in terms of entertainment value, menacing. There's just so many layers to this man, and he can play it in so many different ways, but I loved him in Snatch, which we talked about a couple months ago, and he's just this goofy idiot, right? But he's still really fun to watch. The first movie I ever saw him in was The Usual Suspects.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. That goes way back.
And then he's incredible in Traffic, Sin City, and Savages. The movie's not great, but he is one of the scariest villains I've ever seen in Savages.
Yeah, I don't remember Savages very much.
It's worth it to rewatch that movie just for him, but it's a brutal movie too. Oof.
Yeah, but I do, oh gosh, him as Jackie Boy in Sin City, so nuts.
So good. And he and Emily Blunt actually worked together before that because they were in the movie called Wolfman.
Oh, yeah.
And I haven't seen that movie since it came out. I got to watch it again. And the movie Wolf.
I actually haven't either, but I remember Wolfman with Benicio being pretty badass. My buddies and I went like opening weekend and we left being like, yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, and he actually was in another movie with Tommy Lee Jones at one point as well that was kind of a...
The Hunted.
Yeah, Rambo First Blood knockoff. I remember going to see
that. Yeah, that is a good one. Yeah. we can never forget his role in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas as the lawyer as well.
Right. I know you love that movie, which is why I waited for you to bring it up.
Oh, thank you.
So now that we have our team, Alejandro is also a consultant. We go to Texas and meet up in a hangar on a military base with a whole bunch of Delta Force guys, including Jeffrey Donovan, who I love in this role so much. He's the one with the glasses. He plays Steve. He's driving the car.
Oh, yeah. Burn
love
Notice.
Him. Yes, so he starred in Burn Notice. He's the main character in that TV show, which is awesome. I know your wife likes that show, too. He also was the douchebag boyfriend in Hitch.
Yes, he was.
He had a role in J. Edgar, and he's now a detective. Well, he was for multiple years recently in the Law & Order franchise. So he's been around. He does a lot more TV stuff, but I've always really liked him, and he just plays this really cool but kind of nerdy military guy in Sicario, and I really like his role, and I think he adds to this movie as well, just like everybody else. This is a wonderful ensemble cast movie. Even though we are following Agent Macer the whole time, everybody really adds to it, and there's so many layers and subplots, and so getting into it, they go to Texas, and then they meet in a hangar and discuss a bunch of things, including going over the border into Mexico to pick up one of the leaders of a drug cartel. Kate is starting to get a little bit concerned about what the hell is really going on here and who these people actually are, because they're not just consultants for the DOJ.
No.
And this is one of those movies that you really want to pay attention, especially in the first, 30 minutes or so, because a lot of these meetings that they're having is really laying out the entire plot for this movie and the intricacies within it. Certainly put your phone down, pay attention, because it is very fascinating, especially not only how we are approaching the quote-unquote war on drugs, but also the layers within it. So that's another reason why I love this movie. And so they go over to Mexico, and this is where we get this awesome, like one of the coolest action scenes. Oh, I love this sequence so much. This is the motorcade in and out of Mexico. It is intense the whole entire time. Reminds me a lot of the motorcade in Clear and Present Danger with Harrison Ford. So they go and pick up this leader of a cartel, and everything seems to be going okay, even though it's very, very tense. And they are coming back through the border, and that's when shit really hits the fan. Great scene.
Yeah.
And this is where Kate really starts to be uncomfortable about this entire situation because they're not following any procedures. They're clearly not following any laws. They just went into another country completely unauthorized and stole one of its citizens.
Yeah.
And what Matt Graver, played by Josh Brolin, explains to her is, look, our plan is to shake this tree hard enough that we find the location of the head guy. We want to know where the head of this cartel is. Juarez is a war zone. Literally, I mean, they show it rather explicitly how much gunfire, explosions, murders, kidnappings there are on the other side of the border because of the cartels, because of... It's a multi-layered problem, as we all know, and that's what this movie does such a good job explaining, but also because of the demand for drugs from countries like ours. Let's not forget that aspect of it. And so for the rest of the movie, we are following Kate as she continues to decide whether or not she wants to try and make a real difference by taking down a cartel, even though it's kind of illegal, or if she's going to follow procedures and be the FBI agent that she wants to be. There's a great conversation between not only her and Josh Brolin, but also her and her boss, Victor Garber, about halfway through this film, about how much impact you can really make and what all this means and how to fight these guys, especially given their tactics. And at one point, John Bernthal shows up, and that's a great scene too.
Totally forgot that he was in this movie.
Every single time I watch this movie, I forget he's in it.
Yeah.
Loved him with his small part in Wind River.
Mm-hmm.
He also was in Baby Driver, one of your previous picks.
Yep.
I think my favorite role of his is in Ford versus Ferrari, though.
He's pretty damn good in Ford versus Ferrari. One of my favorite roles of his is Wolf of Wall Street. I love the character that he plays in that movie. And he also is in the new Odyssey, and he is awesome.
And he's in the new Spider-Man. He's very busy this summer.
Yeah, he really is.
He's also in the Accountant movies. Great in those.
Yeah.
I love him in the war movie Fury, though, which is one of my future picks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's just
so
great
good.
all the time. And that's the thing. All of these actors, every single time they show up, we get happy, right? Like, every single one of these people adds something to the movie that they're in. And this is one of the reasons why I think this film is so exceptional, is because they curated a wonderful group of talented actors to carry this very intense script. And it's well written. Really like this movie in terms of its dialogue and what they show us, and that they're not hitting us over the head with anything too. And that's the thing, is that a lot of people take a lot of different things away from this movie. A lot of people think it's a movie about revenge. A lot of people think it's a movie about evil infecting everything, including the people trying to stop it. Mm-hmm. A lot of people think it's just a cool shoot 'em up, explosions, kill everybody movie. Like, there's a lot of different takeaways that people have when they watch Sicario, and have been for the last 10 years. So that's a really wonderful aspect of this film, is that there's still a lot of dialogue around it, but goddamn, it's so well made, including behind the camera. Johan Johansson was the composer. He composed Arrival and Prisoners and other Denis Villeneuve movies, because this is a Denis Villeneuve directed film.
Yes, it is.
Roger Deakins was the cinematographer, and I don't know how they got him, in all honesty, because these guys behind the camera were pretty unknown at the time. I mean, this is Taylor Sheridan's very first screenplay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Roger Deakins had been working with Denis for a while, though, because he was the cinematographer on Prisoners, which is a previous Denis pick of mine. Mm-hmm. He was the cinematographer on my mother's pick this year of Thunderheart. So we talked about him a couple months ago. Fargo, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, A Beautiful Mind, your film this week. This is a Roger Deakins episode, actually.
Apparently so.
Skyfall, which I just rewatched. I'm not a fan of the Daniel Craig James Bond movies for the most part, but God, Skyfall is a gorgeous film. And of course, he was also the cinematographer on 1917, which is one of the most beautiful war movies I've ever seen. So he's amazing. Yeah. He's only won one Oscar, which is such bullshit.
Yeah, it's pretty lame. And the movie's good that he won for, but it's definitely one of the, all right, it's your turn wins.
Yeah, and that's just always disappointing.
Like Scorsese with The Departed and Denzel Washington for Training Day. And even though it's an amazing performance, it's still like, dude, the guy should have won so many years ago.
Oh, for Glory, for
DiCaprio's win for The Revenant when he should have won for The Aviator. That's just how the Academy goes. And then you have people like Mickey Madsen winning for her first go-round of an absolutely piece of shit movie.
Yeah, that was
so hopefully the Academy gets it right this year and gives it to an actually deserving actress.
They've been doing better the last couple of years, which made me happy, but yeah. Well, slightly.
Totally.
But Taylor Sheridan, he's been around. He was an actor first, and not great, to be honest. He was in Sons of Anarchy for a while, and then he...
Was he really?
He was the new sheriff, and then he tried to negotiate being paid as much and getting as much screen time as the lead, and they're like, we're not going to do that. So they killed him off. It was hilarious. So
I only watched a handful of episodes of Sons of Anarchy, so I don't think I even know who you're talking about.
No, it's fine, but apparently he's always had a bit of an ego on him, so he went off and wrote a bunch of stuff, which, man, he should stick to screenwriting, because for movies, it's absolutely incredible. I've already picked Wind River, which he directed as well. Mm-hmm. He wrote Hell or High Water, and then he also is the creator of the Yellowstone TV series universe, which has a ton of spin-offs. There are a couple of TV shows that I do recommend of his. Mayor of Kingstown, starring Jeremy Renner, is very good. And The Madsen just came out last year, and that has Michelle Pfeiffer and Kurt Russell in it, and it is an incredible series about processing grief.
Never even heard of it.
The Madison is very, very good TV. Highly recommended.
Cool.
Taylor Sheridan puts his hands in a lot of different things. He always shows up in his own stuff, which is pretty lame, but it's all right. But no, his screenplays for film I cannot knock because they're incredible. And Hell or High Water is on our list in the future. So yeah, this movie is just well crafted from beginning to end, from pre-production, and it's just an incredible action, intense movie. Really, really love it, and I know you love it too. And so I'm really excited to hear about some of your thoughts on it, especially because we've never really talked about this movie.
No, we have not talked about Sicario. The first time I saw it, Amy and I believe we rented it on Redbox because I didn't see it in theaters. I remember hearing about it and being very interested in seeing it, just I never got around to it, which really sucks because this movie came out around when the ArcLight was still working and up and running, and this would have been an amazing movie to see at the ArcLight. Rented it on Redbox, and Amy and I were glued to the TV, absolutely fell, especially when it ended, we were both like, whoa.
Yeah.
That was pretty ridiculous and incredible. The whole scene where they are going in and out of Juarez with that caravan, oh man, so nuts. And then when they're sitting in traffic and then everything just kind of goes down. But like you said, the first 15 minutes of this movie are so wild, and I think this was
that's the word I've been looking for.
Yeah, brutal, definitely. This was, I think, my 5th time total watching Sicario. I watched it, and I think within a week I had owned had to own the Blu-ray. I did see Sicario: Day of Soldado. Not good at all. I did not like that sequel.
Thank you for bringing
ridiculous.
It up. Yes, totally forgettable.
Yeah, it was so
Shits
dumb.
on this movie.
Massively.
Don't ever
and
watch
they
it,
make
ever.
Del Toro look like a little fucking bitch in that movie. And
thank
it
you.
Really
no, you're absolutely
off
right. And it pissed me off
so
too.
much.
Yes.
I just did not know what the hell the point of it was. Anyway, so
I think
good. We got that
they
off
tried
our
to make
chest.
it like Logan, and it just didn't work.
I don't know what they were going for, but yeah, it didn't
movie.
work at all. Having watched this one, I think I spent a couple of days after literally just walking around the house going, because that soundtrack was just burned in my head.
Yeah.
The soundtrack is so similar to Arrival. It's just like, it's like almost one note, kind of like how Jaws is, you know? And it's so effective, and it just gets under your skin to a point where you're like, this is fucked up. Like, I am not comfortable, but I am also buckled in and ready for whatever the hell's about to happen. And that is one reason why I think Sicario works so well, because not only is Emily Blunt just super captivating early on, and just the way that her character evolves, once Brolin gets involved, and then they bring in Del Toro, it's literally like, okay, we have the triangle. This is going to be an atomic bomb when it goes off. And that's exactly what it is. Mm-hmm. It is a massive, fucking fantastic movie. I don't watch it often, like I said, and you said, completely forgot John Berthal's in this fucking movie. And halfway through the scene with him, I'm like, why don't I remember him being in this movie? And then what happens, and I'm kind of like, how do I not remember this whole part? Because everything else is, I think during that whole sequence, we're on a come down from everything that has been happening up until that point. And then after all of that happens, we're back on the roller coaster going up again. Yeah. And it's just like, this is literally the definition of roller coaster ride cinema. And it is so fucking fantastic. And the end of this movie is amazing. Everything that happens with Del Toro, everything that happens with Blunt's character, just spectacular stuff. Edge of your seat. I watched it completely clenching my pearls, if you will. I haven't seen this movie. I haven't seen this movie in a few years. I think it's been at least 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And even when I watched that last time and it ended, I was like, yes! God, that movie's so amazing. And that's exactly how I felt when it ended this time. So I'm glad that you picked it, and I'm glad that I know it's very popular. I know a lot of people definitely were fans of this movie. I just don't know if they, that's what we're here for. We're here to bring movies back to people. So I hope that this will reignite people's interest in seeing it, because not only is Taylor Sheridan's got some good stuff, he's got this, Wind River and Hell or High Water, but he's been so engulfed in these series, and so many people are like, yeah, I really liked the first season, and then it just fell off after that, and that's why I don't watch a lot of series. Plus, I'm not a Western person, so I'm not going to watch Yellowstone ever in my life, and I don't like Kevin Costner, because I just
don't like him.
Know why. Yeah, I just don't like him, especially from The Untouchables. Anyway, yeah, Sicario's absolutely fantastic. Denis Villeneuve, he's like Nolan. He's literally almost has a perfect track record.
Yes.
And I cannot wait, and I'm so excited that not only The Odyssey coming out this year, but we get Dune 3. And there was an incredible Dune 3 trailer before The Odyssey in IMAX that just completely I clenched myself, and I can't wait. So I'm super excited. And I know Villeneuve is like one of your top guys, and Nolan's one of my top guys, so we get both of our top guys in 2026. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm stoked. And also, he's been tapped for the new James Bond movie, which could be very exciting.
See, that's interesting. I know Nolan and he were the two that were talked about, and it sounds like maybe they should switch off. Maybe Villeneuve should do one, then Nolan can do the next one, and back and forth. That would be kind of cool, because I know Nolan's a massive James Bond fan based off the books that I've read about Nolan.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I love what you said about the score, though, because Denis asked Jóhann Jóhannsson to listen to the Jaws soundtrack.
Oh, no kidding.
And have that kind of tonal, foreboding, threatening sound for this film. And man, he hit it out of the park. And that's one of those scores that, I mean, it really reminds me a lot of All Quiet on the Western Front as well, where I'm not sure how often I could listen to it outside of the film, like just listening to music, on Spotify.
Sure.
But it's so well done, and it matches the movie perfectly that it is such a wonderful score. So it's one of those ones that you definitely want to... Everything about this movie you want to pay attention to, because everything is excellent.
Yep. Every word of dialogue means something, and if you miss something, you're going to be like, wait, what?
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And every word of dialogue that isn't spoken is vitally important as well. The original screenplay had Benicio with extensive dialogue.
Oh, really?
And talking to Emily Blunt a hell of a lot more than he does in the film.
Oh.
And both Benicio and Denis removed about 90% of the lines for his character.
Nice. Okay. See, that's cool. That works.
It totally works because it maintains the mystery of Alejandro, which is really important when it comes to someone who scares the shit out of you.
Oh, yeah.
Being in the
Benicio
dark about them helps. Oh, yeah, so well. And that's the thing is that, and that's another part of this movie that I love so much, is that Kate, being her own character, she's absolutely her own fully fleshed out character, very three-dimensional in this movie, very well done, but you can also put yourself in her shoes. Man or woman, you absolutely can do that, because throughout the whole movie, you're questioning how you would react. Would I go along with all this? Would I agree with Josh Brolin when he's trying to persuade me on exactly what everything that we're doing is okay? Or am I going to stick to my training and holding up the law? And there's so many moral questions in this film, and it's really, really nice to be able to put yourself in those shoes, because you're following this character who you can empathize with throughout their dilemma. And God, it's just another part of the film that's so great. And Emily was actually requested specifically by Denis after he watched The Young Victoria, which is another movie she stars in.
The Young Victoria? I don't think I know that one.
It's a movie about Victoria, the Queen of England. So it's period piece.
Oh, all right, cool.
And another piece of the script that was deleted is that there was a nude scene for Emily Blunt. Because, of course, she's the only woman in the whole goddamn cast. So stupid.
Oh, come on.
But she asked for it to be removed, and Benicio del Toro advocated on her side for it as well.
Wonderful.
For it to be removed,
what the
obviously.
Hell would yeah. What would the scene, the shower scene? We got to see her naked washing the blood off? Come on, yo.
Yeah, I think it's either the shower scene or her walking around her apartment being naked, which absolutely adds zero to the plot.
We totally need to see that. Yeah, absolutely.
Also, of course, they picked the female to have a nude scene. Why don't you put Josh Brolin in the shower? Come on.
Yeah.
So ridiculous.
Let's see Brolin's Rollins.
Okay, so that was funny. Our movies this week are not, though, okay?
No.
Okay, so...
That was literally the only reason why I said there's a funny moment in your movie, because I had that waiting in my back pocket.
Right.
No, actually, I'm totally fucking around. That just came to me.
Amazing.
I'm that clever.
When we record, you definitely are. Okay,
yes, I am.
We love the scene in Juarez and Mexico and crossing back over the border.
Mm-hmm.
They built that whole entire thing at Albuquerque Studios.
The whole freeway?
The whole freeway.
Oh my God.
Just like in The Matrix Reloaded, building that whole freeway out in Alameda on that old military base. And they've built that entire freeway for The Matrix Reloaded. They built a whole full-scale replica of the Juarez border crossing at Albuquerque Studios so they didn't have to shut down traffic for days and days on end. They could have full control of everything. Every driver was the stunt driver when they needed it, and they could put, when nothing was moving around, they just put a bunch of dummies in the cars, and that's fine too, right? And so, yes, this movie was filmed extensively in Albuquerque, El Paso, Texas, and Mexico City.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they did such a good job building it out, too. I never in a million years would have guessed that was a fake freeway.
No, neither. No, no, not at all. That is pretty impressive.
My favorite scene of the whole movie is when the sun is setting and they're walking towards that tunnel, though, and you just see their silhouettes.
Ooh, yeah. There's so many good
desert
shots
sunsets
in
are
this movie.
the best.
Yeah,
especially high desert sunsets.
I love high.
And then Roger
sunsets.
Deakins, he used real FLIR thermal cameras for all of the night sequences when they all have night visions on. So those all real. It's not a filter or any bullshit like that. He used real FLIR cameras, which is awesome. And then in that scene when they're traveling through the tunnel, it's super dark and they can see each other's footprints.
Mm-hmm.
The props department heated up all their shoes, all the soles of their shoes, and then right when they were about to say action, everybody put their shoes back on and ran down the tunnel so all the heat could be picked up.
Very cool.
Brilliant.
That's sweet.
Practical. Yeah. Everything being practical is awesome.
Practicality.
So yeah, unfortunately that is all I have for Sicario. I'm actually shocked.
Oh, wow.
I figured there'd be a lot more trivia about this movie. The other aspects of it that I read were just that everything was practical. The jets they used, the military bases, all that stuff. They filmed at real locations, which is very cool. That is Sicario. It did okay.
Yeah.
But I remember this being such the talk of the town. I'm actually surprised by this box office. But guess the budget for this movie first.
Budget for this, okay. Emily Blunt, Del Toro, Josh Brolin, 2015.
Roger Deakins.
Okay, I'm going to say 65 mil.
This movie had a $30 million budget.
Oh, damn.
Isn't that impressive as hell?
Hell yeah.
It makes me love it even more.
I know. With what they accomplished.
Right?
My goodness. Yeah. 30 mil.
And just think, the new Moana movie had a $250 million budget.
Yeah. Yeah, it did.
But Sicario on a $30 million budget, it only made $47 million in the U.S.
Oh, damn.
Isn't that surprising? Everybody was talking about this movie back then.
I remember it was super popular when it came out.
I know. It did make $85 million worldwide, though, so it was considered a big success. That's why everybody was able to get some blank checks and make some bigger movies like Arrival, like Taylor Sheridan making the whole TV universe that he went off and made. And everybody else, the actors have moved on and done great things after that, which is always nice to see.
Oh, yeah.
And this was nominated for 3 Oscars.
Oh, snap.
Best cinematography, well-deserved.
Of course.
Best score, already talked about.
Wonderful.
And best sound editing, which with all the gunfire, great nomination.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The sound is really, really good in this movie.
And so when I was doing research for this movie and seeing that they got nominated but they didn't win, I got really pissed because I thought the cinematography, like we said, Roger Deakins should have won for more things than the single Oscar he's ever won. The score was amazing, but the 2016 Oscars, Emmanuel Lubezki won for The Revenant for Best Cinematography, which that opening 15-minute shot that's pretty much Unbroken's badass, but I think there's an argument to be made for Roger Deakins.
Yeah, because Emmanuel had won for Birdman the year before.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
And that was a better movie, just in general.
Yeah, that's true. For Best Score, Ennio Morricone won his first and only Oscar. Speaking of Oscars that they just give to the guy because he's deserved it for a couple decades.
Yeah.
Ennio was an incredible composer. He actually died 4 years after his win. He won for The Hateful Eight, which isn't a terrible score, but it's not that memorable.
No.
But Ennio, iconic Western composer. He did the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly theme that everybody will recognize. And actually, my favorite score of his is called The Mission with Robert De Niro.
Oh, yes.
Anyone who's interested in a haunting, beautiful score, listen to The Mission. It's absolutely gorgeous. Wonderful movie, too. Heartbreaking. I think it's on my list in the future because it's wonderful.
I think so. I've never seen it. I remember seeing it all over Blockbuster and Hollywood Video, and even Jack Black mentions it in The Holiday at one point.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Oh, I love that scene so much. So I could kind of understand why Sicario lost its nominations. However, I do wish it had won those two because I think it was worth it. It earned it. And it is a phenomenal film. It on a $30 million budget. It's certainly Oscar worthy. I'm so glad to bring it to the podcast just to remind everybody of the quality of this film because everybody usually talks about like, oh, it's so badass and like, oh, it's so action oriented and all this stuff. But There's so many layers to this film to make it exceptional, behind and in front of the camera. And so I love it as a piece of cinema, and I hope you all will think about it a little bit more the next time you watch it, because I know a lot of our listeners had already seen it. I had recently seen it just like within the last 2 months, and then the schedule came up, and I was like, hell yeah, I'll watch this again. But yes, since 2015, I've seen it probably about the same amount of times as you, about 6 or so. That is Sicario. I hope you guys are as big of fans of it as we are and are reminded to rewatch it, or maybe I'll give you an opportunity to watch it for the first time. I hope I did. It is currently streaming on Hulu and Disney+. Hard R movies on Disney still or trip me up. I think that'll be a problem for a while. But yes, I'm so glad to revisit it with you and have this conversation.
Likewise, kick-ass movie. It does kick ass. It's just, it's an all-around thumbs up. Fantastic flick.
Oh, I'm so glad you love it as much as me. I wasn't surprised. Given the movie, I figured you would love it, especially with all the elements that we've just discussed, but it's always nice to get that confirmation as well.
Hell yeah!
All right, so we're going to rewind a couple years and dive into another contemporary Western. That's at least the theme of this week. Sorry, we forgot to mention that at the beginning of the episode, but John and I think the best description for contemporary Westerns starring Josh Brolin, apparently.
Yeah.
All right, you want to tell our audience about your movie?
I do, actually. I'm looking forward to it. Let's do it. Let's dive back to the year 2007. This is another Coen Brothers movie. This will be my third Coen Brothers movie since I've done Fargo and Burn After Reading. This one is certainly the most violent of the three that I have chosen. And like V said, Roger Deakins is the DP on this film, which is pretty badass. This film stars Tommy Lee Jones, Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin, Woody Harrelson, Kelly MacDonald, and a whole handful of others, including Stephen Root, and just a bunch of character actors from West Texas, because that's where this movie is set. And the Coen brothers like to cast locals, it seems. Very local style looking cast, especially a couple of people that we meet in this movie at a gas station, and then later, then at one point in the movie when Anton Chigurh goes to Llewellyn's house to try and find him, and the landlord is like, I couldn't tell you where he is, and well, anyway, we'll get into that later. So if you have not seen, or actually haven't even told you what this movie is, if you weren't following along last year, but if you recognize the cast, this movie is titled, based off of the novel Cormac McCarthy wrote, title of the same name, set in 1980s West Texas, No Country for Old Men. Now, a lot of people may not know this, but the title No Country for Old Men is a metaphor for the aging of traditional moral values and the rise of incomprehensible modern evil and an indifferent universe. So, the old men in this movie, Tommy Lee Jones. There it is. No Country for Tommy Lee Jones, especially based on what he's discussing. And he plays the local deputy, Ed Tom Bell. We have Josh Brolin playing Llewellyn Moss. This movie opens up with us meeting Llewellyn Moss. He's doing a little hunting on the plains of West Texas. He's got an antelope in his sight, and he grazes this antelope with one of his bullets and ends up following the trail of blood that it's left behind, and ultimately finds it, but he also comes across what looks like, and we ultimately find out, this actually is what happened, a drug deal gone bad. There are plenty of dead bodies. There are, unfortunately, a couple of dogs, and there's one guy alive still in one of the trucks. Llewellyn doesn't speak any Spanish. This is 1980s West Texas, so that's all you really need to know about the mindset of Llewellyn Moss, a white man in Texas. On top of him following the blood trail of this antelope, he also sees another trail of blood, and it ends up being the trail of blood of a black dog that was involved in this very bloody, grisly shootout. So he follows this dog to a tree where another Mexican man is dead from multiple gunshot wounds, and Llewellyn, and even the audience, there's really no dialogue when we first meet Llewellyn. He's really just more in his head about everything, and as an audience member, this movie, I would say from beginning to end, plays like a novel. And I think it's actually very brilliantly done that way, because we're not always given exactly what's happening per dialogue. We're really just kind of seeing things unfold as Llewellyn comes upon them. I remember watching this the first time and being like, okay, well, where's the fucking money? And what does Llewellyn do? He finds the satchel of money. $2 million to be exact.
You placing a year on this storyline explains a whole hell of a lot to me of why someone would freak out that much about $2 million, because I was thinking it came out in 2007, and since that was the storyline year as well, so I'm like, Who gives a shit about $2 million anymore? Like, they would have just written that off as the cartel that they lost it. Big deal.
Oh, see, even today, if I found $2 million, I'd be very happy.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of the cartel wanting it back.
Oh,
like,
okay,
got it.
Cared? No, they likely wouldn't have given too much of a shit about it.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
I actually did have to Google the year that this was set, because I have not read the novel, although I've read the first chapter. I know I mentioned that in last week's episode when we were talking about doing this movie. And I had to know when it was set because of not only the cars that are being driven around in this movie, the costumes, and just the feel of it. It was like there's something, the tint, everything. I was like, okay, this is definitely not present day 2007. So 1980.
I was like, oh no, it's just West Texas.
Well, yeah, no, of course, yeah. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, damn, so they really are still behind the times in West Texas.
Yeah.
So yeah, 1980, we have that now, if anybody was curious about that. So now Llewellyn has found this $2 million. What the hell is he going to do with it? Well, he keeps it. And he goes home and he tells his wife, played by Kelly MacDonald, and if you remember her by name, she plays Diane in Trainspotting, one of my favorite movies of all time. She's also Merida in Brave, which I know, V, you're not a very big fan of that movie.
No, I'm not, and I always think that she's the woman in Braveheart, and I'm always wrong.
Oh, yeah, no, she's not the woman in Braveheart, no. But Kelly MacDonald plays Carla Jean Moss, and Llewellyn and her, they've been married for quite some time. According to the novel, Llewellyn's 36 and Carla is 19. And they'd been married already for 3 years. That's another timestamp thing there for you. So anyway, he gets home, and she's like, where have you been? And he says, oh, just out doing my hunting. And Llewellyn is of the mind that this $2 million is either going to be looked for or not. However, the guy that was still alive was asking for a bunch of water. It's the middle of the night. Llewellyn wakes up and starts filling a jug of water. He's going to go back out and give this guy some water. His wife is like, what are you doing? He goes, I think I'm about to do something dumber than hell. And of course, he's about to do something dumber than hell. He's going to go back to the fucking crime scene. And this is when more cartel members show up. They chase him down. He gets injured. And one thing leads to another, where we're introduced also to Anton Chigurh, who is a massive psychopath on a murdering spree, who has been hired by these cartel members to track down this $2 million so that he can bring it back to the leader, if you will, in Mexico. And he and Llewellyn are playing a game of cat and mouse throughout the majority of this movie. We also meet Carson Wells, played by Woody Harrelson, who is a private investigator, bounty hunter more so, if you will. Also on Anton Chigurh's trail, he had been hired by Stephen Root's character, who is actually credited as Man Who Hires Wells. And Stephen Root has been in majority of the Coen brothers movies. Most famously, he is Milton in Office Space. He's also another most famous role of Gordon in Dodgeball, one of V's picks from many, many years ago. So we're along for this really intense ride while Anton Chigurh is doing what he can to not only evade the police, Tommy Lee Jones and other deputies, but he's trying to track down this $2 million. And at one point when Llewellyn tells his wife that she needs to go to her mom's house and he will meet her there because he's got to get on the run as fast as possible because somebody's going to be looking for this money, he ultimately finds a tracking device in the satchel. And Anton Chigurh has been given the radar detector to track this tracking device that has been found in this satchel of $2 million. And for the rest of the movie, that's what we are along for the ride for. It gets very brutal, it's very violent, it's very bloody. Anton Chigurh is an absolute psychopath, and we learn that very early on, actually in the first scene of the movie. I don't really like to talk too much about first scenes in movies such as this, because while it is definitely a part of the story, I wanted to get into Llewellyn's story a little bit quicker so that V and I could talk about this movie. I've got a good amount of BTS on this, and one about Woody Harrelson that boggled my motherfucking mind.
Really?
And I cannot... Oh, yeah. You're going to love this, and I hope our audience loves this as well. So anyway, like I said, Cormac McCarthy wrote the novel. Joel and Ethan Coen adapted it, wrote it, and directed it. Third Coen Brothers movie that I've done. I saw this movie opening weekend, then I bought the DVD when it came out. I think this is the first time I've watched this movie in at least 10 years. It's been a very long time. And while it's one of those movies that has stuck with me throughout the last almost 2 decades now, There are moments that I forgot, but I think it's such a fantastic movie, and the pacing of it I think is perfect. The end kind of comes out of nowhere, in my opinion. I remember everybody in the theater when it cut to black, they're like, "What? That's the end?" But as I got older and I watched the movie, I think the end really works, and I maybe I'll read the book at some point. I think, V, you have a copy of it. So maybe I'll read it after you read it, or I'll just go buy a copy.
No, I'll give it to you.
Okay, sweet. But I wouldn't say this is one of my favorite movies of all time, but it's certainly one of my favorite Coen Brothers movies. And I know I said that about Fargo and Burn After Reading, but so I also said that about Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, too, which I haven't done yet, which is a version of The Odyssey. There you go, The Odyssey. Brought it up again. But yeah, No Country for Old Men is brutal. The cinematography is amazing, but at the same time, it's so simplistic because of it being West Texas, but it's still kind of like, I mean, you can feel the heat in a lot of these scenes. And I think the portrayal of that, and similar to, like we've said, about The Revenant in certain movies, you're really put into the situations based off of not only the cinematography, but how the cast is reacting to what's going on around them. I give this movie a massive 2 thumbs up. When it ended, I actually did applaud, and I was like, fuck, that movie is fucking good. It's been so long, and it was one of those reminders where I was like, yeah, this is definitely one of the best movies of 2007. And V, I don't know how you feel, but we're about to find out. So what did you think of your revisit of No Country for Old Men?
I pulled an audible and actually watched your movie first because I knew how much it would depress me.
Oh, all right.
So I actually watched Sicario second, which is not something... You and I both actually usually watch my movie first and then your movie second, which is funny. We have the same order of operations, but yeah, this week I knew what I was in for, even though I've only ever watched this movie one other time before in the theaters when it came out. But I remember it just being... But it's Cormac McCarthy. I mean, it's like Dennis Lehane. They're just depressing-ass stories like Mystic River, right? And so I knew that going in, and I think it really highlights Josh Brolin's range.
Oh, big time.
Because in the first 10 minutes of the movie, you're like, oh, this guy's a dummy.
Yeah.
And it's the absolute opposite in my film this week. He's
yeah.
cool, calm, arrogant, collected, slick. It's such a great comparison to make back to back for this guy, because he doesn't get, I mean, he started to, he's been nominated for an Oscar, which is cool, but he doesn't get the accolades that I think he has deserved later on in his career by being as good as he is, because I think, he's a child actor. He made a bunch of shit movies in the 90s and early 2000s, and then now he makes good stuff. And that being said, yeah, you're right. This movie just ends, and I was like, oh, yeah. And there is a major plot point in this movie that happens off camera that is just so bold by the Coen brothers, because nobody else would do that.
Nope, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I remember in theaters the gasp that just went across the theater. And watching it at the ArcLight, and when that happens and the cop car's pulling up, you're just like, oh... Yeah, that was, even this time watching it, I'm like, oh, fuck, that's right. Like, it was just so like, oh, my gosh. And the way that the aftermath of all of that, I love the conversation that Ed Tom Bell has with the local deputy, and then when he goes back to that motel, and he has that idea that Sakura's in the room, and then at the same time, like the way that they shoot the reflection of him, it's just so, there's so many moments in this movie of, Roger Deakins, but just like human horror. When I was watching the making of this movie, everybody on was like, a lot of people call it a contemporary Western. This is a horror movie. I'm like, yeah, no, it absolutely is, because Javier Bardem is
a serial killer.
But he's terrifying too. He's so cold.
Oh man. Okay, so let's get into this, because you and I really need to have a discussion about this movie. So,
well, that's what we're here for.
No, you and I are about to have a debate about this movie. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
So, the beginning of this film, I love that it also asks the same question as my film of what would you do? Okay, you find $2 million, what would you do?
Yeah.
Now, after you and I have seen so many movies over the last 40 years, of course, the first thing we're going to do is go through that entire case to see if there's a tracker. Duh, you big dummy. But since I now know that this is the 80s, I totally understand why you wouldn't look for it. Get it?
Sure.
That drug deal, though, the only thing I'm thinking the whole time is, oh, those poor dogs.
Yeah, of course. When I watched this movie, I was like, oh boy, if he's going to love this part. And then I'm thinking like, oh, I should give her a trigger warning, but I didn't do that with White Fang, so you're never getting a trigger warning.
No. Once I've survived White Fang, I don't think I need any after that. But
no, and all dogs go to heaven.
Oh God! Speaking of, see, it's traumatizing.
I could just see your face drop. You're like, oh, you brought it up again.
Yeah, you did.
Damn right.
But
makes me feel alive.
This movie also reminded me that brown, flat places just depress the hell out of me.
Oh, totally. Yeah. No,
everything.
Look, like I'm saying, everything was just like
just seems so small and simple and not adventurous or exciting. I need greenery. I need mountains.
Yeah.
I need oh God, yeah. I would never, ever, ever want to live in Texas. Or Oklahoma or Nebraska or
No, middle America is not for anybody like you and me.
No, unfortunately.
You have to be born there to actually want to
Which sucks
continue to stay there.
Housing prices are pretty solid.
Oh yeah, and I know a lot of great people from Texas and Wisconsin, but at the same time, it's like they were also born and raised there.
Yeah, my amazing niece lives in Austin. She moved there actually. So yeah, and there's some good food in Austin. But
Amy lived in Dallas. Oh, there's some great food in Austin. Absolutely.
I love Stephen Root and Woody Harrelson in this movie. The scene with both of them together, I think, is my favorite scene in the whole movie, and it really helps explain a lot because at the beginning of this film, you're really coming from Llewellyn's perspective, and you don't know how this happened and where all these guys are from. So I really like that aspect of it. This movie did remind me more of a Richard Linklater film than a Coen Brothers movie, though. Given its
interesting,
Fargo and it's small town crime, very bloody, very gory, full of has a psychopath in it. That's true, but the authenticity of it, the using locals, that part of it really reminded me, and it's in Texas.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So there are a lot of aspects of this movie that it doesn't seem like a Coen Brothers film.
Interesting.
I think a lot of that has to do with screenplay as well, because their screenplays are usually a little kooky or they have quirkier characters in it. And
sure. Oh yeah, there's really no cork.
No.
And okay, no,
and
like I said, there's no Steve Buscemi, absolutely not. No, there's no Brad Pitt, there's no George Clooney, there's no Peter Stormare, there's nothing like that. Absolutely. And when I was saying earlier, there's some moments of comedy, it's really only because you're laughing at how fucking dumb some of these decisions are.
Oh yeah,
especially when he says, "I'm about to do something dumber than hell," you're like, "Oh shit."
Yes, there are many decisions that you're just like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
I think Kelly MacDonald she's from Glasgow.
Yes, she is.
She does such a good job in this movie.
Oh, yeah, she's great. I think she might have 8 minutes of screen time, too, in the entire 2 hours, but she's
steals
so
the scenes.
good.
She's good.
Magnificent.
I love her mom. She's a great character actor, too. She's the one in Speed.
Yeah.
But
see, that's another thing right there. The mom, she was a little bit of comic relief for just a few minutes.
But yes, I think the authenticity, yes. And everybody talks about Javier Bardem in this movie and how he's the greatest psychopath ever made, and every psychologist who watched movies said he's the most authentic psychopath that's ever been shown on film, blah, blah, blah. I watched this movie, I'm like, yeah, he's just a serial killer. He didn't terrify me as much as everybody talked about over the last 20 years since this movie's come out. And again, like I said, I hadn't seen it in that long, so for me, I'd just been hearing all this stuff, and it is a good film, but there's two things about it that really made it fall flat for me. First and foremost, Javier Bardem, he's incredible, yes. He's a great serial killer. However, Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs scared the shit out of me way more than Javier ever could, even with that stupid-ass haircut.
Yeah, that hair was something else.
And I think one of the reasons is because his flat affect seems like a performance to me, versus Anthony Hopkins seemed like Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
So that's one. The second one being, throughout this movie, and I do understand the message and I like how they focused on it. However, for me, it just falls a little flat because I don't really empathize with it. And it's all these old guys in West Texas lamenting about how the world is so evil and there are these people walking down the street, kids with their green hair and metal through their lips and all this stuff. And all it sounds like is a bunch of middle-aged white guys whining about the good old days.
Well, it's not what it sounds like. That's literally what the fuck it is.
Yeah, and
no country for old men, yo.
For someone who is a woman, for someone who is part of different groups that have been oppressed over the last, couple hundred years.
Sure. Only 10 years? Come on.
For me, it just fell flat because the people who talk about the good old days are the people who think the good old days were great for them, not for everybody else. And so for me, I'm just like, these guys are just whining about their bullshit lives, and that's why I don't like them. So for me,
I see.
This is a good movie. They are good performances. I just don't give a shit about any of these guys.
Okay. All right. I gotcha. And you literally broke the metaphor down even more so by saying all that, and you got to realize Cormac McCarthy is an old white man.
exactly.
The Coen brothers are white men.
Yeah.
And everybody in this movie's white except for Javier Bardem. So yeah, I think it...
And all the dead cartel guys.
And all the dead cartel guys, yes, of course, yes. I think at the same time, the story and just at one point, or I mean, gosh, you and I, No Country for Old Men, that's you and me now, yo. Like, literally.
No.
All we do is... Hang on. I'm not talking about going as extensive as how they go in this movie. Because, again, 1980s, of course, green hair, piercings through the face, tattoos, all that stuff, that was on the rise around then, right? Right now, you and me, maybe not you as much, but me, I feel like I am one of those guys because I'm not on TikTok. I'm not on any of these things. I don't know who half the fucking people are that claim to be celebrities. I don't know what the hell is going on in the entertainment industry anymore. It was a golden age for me, and now things are changing. Like this whole fucking thing with Obsession. Congratulations, man. You made a movie for $750,000 and you made almost $500 million worldwide. Awesome. The way that this movie is being so jerked off over is sickening. And that was last year with Weapons, and it was the year before with something else, and da-da-da-da. I just feel like at 40 now, I get what my parents were saying. And because I don't even listen to the radio anymore because I don't give a fuck what new music is out there unless it's in a genre that I like. And I still feel like you could relate to this movie if you looked past the old white man aspect of it and just realized that as people get older, shit changes and it sucks. And that's literally the whole point of No Country for Old Men. Granted, a very small portion of it because the rest of it is about this murderous psychopath chasing down $2 million. So there's
that.
Like similar to Sicario, there's layers to No Country for Old Men. There's different storylines that we're following along. And I think that they did it pretty brilliantly. And I will, like I said, never forget the first time I saw it in theaters. Everybody hated the ending. I didn't love the ending, but then I watched it again at home and I was like, oh shit, okay. Maybe when I get older, this will have more of an impact on me. And like literally this last time when I watched it, I was like, oh shit, okay. We don't spoil anything, but that conversation at the end of the movie, how many times have you had a conversation like that with somebody, right?
Never.
Oh boy, okay.
Here's the thing, but here's the thing.
Steve, get my back on this one, man, please.
But I think this is why there's such a difference between you and I. I spent over 10 years in the tech industry, so I've always been up on tech because I had to be, right?
Sure.
I'm interested in technology, so I really like being... Obviously, I'm not on TikTok, but I'm loving every single medical advance there is because we're heart patients.
Of course. I'm not talking about anything like that, though. I'm literally not talking about that kind of
culturally, I feel more comfortable being myself now than I did when I was 20. So the fact that things have gotten better for me means I'm not going to whine and bitch about the good old days.
All right. See, now that's another interesting take on that because that's not how I feel. I am completely down with what you just said. Now, granted, AI, not so much. But, the
AI is a blight upon humanity. Everybody should be against it.
Yeah, we're all going to die from AI at some point, I imagine. To an extent, I can agree with you. I think you can kind of agree with me a little bit. But I understand where you're coming from with things getting better for you. You're more yourself than you were in your 20s. I am the same person. So I haven't really changed necessarily.
But I also think it's easier to be myself in public now, is my point, is that
than it was.
Public perception is also much more accepting now than it was in the 90s or early 2000s. And so for me...
This movie said 1980, yo!
No, I totally agree. I'm just saying that it's a good film, great performances. I am the wrong audience for it.
Okay. Okay, cool. 17 minutes of talking got to that, and that's what I needed to begin with. And now no, it's okay. No, it's great convo about it, and it totally makes sense. I completely understand. I'm fully on board with all of that. I get it. My thing is, I can empathize with these guys from the 80s seeing certain things change and not being super excited about it, So anyway,
I love
not to bring...
how realistic they all are, though.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
I love
the
how
dialogue's
realistic
very
these characters are. And I mean, everybody has met, especially you growing up in the Palmdale area, me growing up in Northern California in a very rural area. Like, you and I have met people like this.
Big time.
Exactly like this.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Like that. Similar to Ben Affleck using a lot of Bostonians, right? For
sure,
and Clint Eastwood too for Mystic River and things like that. And so I love it when they can give small bit parts to locals. It just adds so much realism to a movie.
Totally.
And Javier Bardem is hot in real life.
Yes, just not with that haircut. When he got that haircut on set, he said to the Coens that he's likely not to get laid for the next 2 months.
Funny considering he married to Penelope Cruz by then?
I don't think they had gotten together
one of
yet.
The most beautiful women on the planet.
Yeah,
they're so
seriously.
cute together. Oh, I love them together.
Yeah.
Also, if you ever had any wonderings or questions about Javier Bardem, you should watch some of his interviews. He's a big old feminist. He's awesome.
Oh yeah, I'm a big Javier Bardem fan. I definitely like the guy quite a bit. He's been in some good stuff. I always wanted to see Before Night Falls, but I still have not had a chance to. I know you didn't like it, but I did like the Ricardo's movie that he was in. I know The Sea Inside is also supposed to be pretty great. He was good in Skyfall. I really liked him in that.
Ooh,
and
the scene where he's in the prison and he pulls off that... I just saw that
remember.
again.
I've seen it
he's
one time.
so creepy. He's such a good villain in Skyfall. Oh my god.
He's a great villain majority of the time, and
he
I know
really is.
I'm likely to get a lot of flack for this one, but in the 5th installment of the Pirates of the Caribbean, he was so badass as Salazar.
Oh, he's the one good thing about that movie.
Yeah, he was the saving grace of Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Oh,
all right, moving on.
Yeah, that CGI around his face, he's so creepy. And I loved him in F1
so
last year. Haha, another opportunity to mention that movie.
Yeah.
I know you hate it.
I don't hate it. I just didn't love it like you did. So Javier Bardem's great. He was nominated for an Oscar for this movie. He ultimately won, being the first Spanish actor to win for a supporting actor role. And I'll get into the Academy Award nominations in a little bit because this one certainly did get a lot.
He also stars in Dune 1 and 2, by the way.
Yeah, you mentioned that in the last half of this episode, so I didn't feel like I needed to mention it again. But yes, he is in both and now the third Dune coming up.
No, Josh Brolin is in Dune 1 and 2, but so is Javier Bardem.
So is Javier Bardem, yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't mentioned the Javier part.
I thought you did mention Javier Bardem. Okay,
I would
well, if you
never
didn't,
mention
now we have...
actor from your movie before we talk about your movie. How dare you?
Okay. You never know. But going back to Javier Bardem, because we just can't stop saying his name, Javier Bardem, at one point he was it's a great name. He really wanted to work with the Coen brothers, and the Coen brothers approached him about being in the movie. And while he really wanted to work with them, he said, I don't drive or speak the best English, and I really am not a big fan of violence. And the Coens were like, well, that's kind of why we called you. Because how many lines in the entire 2 hours does he have? Maybe 75?
Oh, I was thinking of like 22.
Well, there's longer scenes where he's
That's true.
on the phone with Brolin, and then the scene with him and Woody Harrelson in the hotel.
Oh, that's a good scene.
The tension building scene.
But it reminds me...
And I think... that's my favorite scene of Bardem in this movie, the way that he constantly is like looking away and just like you can tell that Carson Wells knows something bad's about to happen.
Oh, I really, really like that scene. I like that you don't exactly know the role everyone is playing in this deal.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that about it. But it reminds me of Chow Yun-fat actually when he was big in the 80s and 90s because he's a Buddhist and became very famous in China and in America being this badass cop in a lot of action movies that were really bloody.
Right.
And in reality, he's absolutely against all of it.
Yeah, of course. Now, there's a great line that Woody Harrelson has in this movie when Stephen Root, man who hires Wells, asks him, he says, what do you know about Anton Chigurh? And I'm going to let Carson Wells explain it to you.
Just how well do you know Chigurh?
What do you want to know?
I just want to know your opinion of him in general. Just how dangerous is he?
Compared to what? The bubonic plague? He's bad enough you called me. Yeah, he's a psychopathic killer, but so what? There's plenty of them around.
My favorite line when Woody Harrelson is discussing Chigurh is when he's talking to another character and he goes, you know, the man who doesn't really have a sense of humor.
Totally. So that right there, if you, while watching the movie, didn't know already that Chigurh had a reputation, now we have Carson Wells to corroborate that reputation. A couple of cool things about the production of this movie. There was an unforeseen expense on this movie, and the makeup department ended up spending $800 a gallon on the fake blood for the scene of the aftermath and throughout the rest of the movie, because this movie... it's bloody in certain moments, especially when things really start to go down after Chigurh finds Llewellyn in one of the other motels. I love that scene at night when they're chasing each other. Oh, my gosh.
That's
so
a great
brutal.
scene.
Yeah, so
I
good.
love chases on foot. There's so much more tension.
Oh, yeah. On foot is so much worse than in a car. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It just feels like there's a lot less options.
Yeah, where can you go? If you can't speed off, you're kind of stuck with however fast you can run. So these gallons of blood that were $800 a pop, the reason why they cost so much was because they were not the typical fake blood made with sugar. And being out in Texas, they didn't want any of the bodies to have all these flies and whatnot all
Yellow
over
jackets?
the fake blood puddles. Yeah, whatever would be attracted to the sugar that is in, because, as we all know from Scream, corn syrup, like in Carrie, a lot of fake blood is made with a lot of sugar and a lot of corn syrup. So they were able to find a fake blood that was not. So that was pretty cool.
That is very cool.
A future pick of mine, I think in the next week or two, is a film directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie, starring Daniel Day-Lewis, called There Will Be Blood. This movie and There Will Be Blood were both being shot within several miles of each other. During a production day on No Country for Old Men, they were shooting a very wide shot of the plains of Texas with Josh Brolin, and all of a sudden, a huge plume of smoke and fire came flying up through the sky. Well, they ended up finding out that Paul Thomas Anderson was testing one of his effects that day, and they had to shut down production on No Country for Old Men until the sky cleared from all of the smoke.
That would
and
be
both of those movies.
an oil fire, probably.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. And we'll get into that even more so when we get into There Will Be Blood in the future. Josh Brolin was so excited to work on this movie. When he got the audition, he was in the middle of shooting Grindhouse, Planet Terror. I love Planet Terror. Such a badass movie by Robert Rodriguez. And so what Brolin and Robert Rodriguez did was they shot his audition tape using all of the equipment they were using to make Planet Terror, and Quentin Tarantino directed his audition while he did scenes with Marley Shelton as Carla Jean.
Oh, that's nice of them. I love it, people supporting each other.
Yeah. Something similar happened on the set of Knocked Up for Jonah Hill when he got to audition for Superbad, actually. Even though Seth Rogen's in both of those movies, Jonah Hill had to audition for Superbad to play Seth, so they shot an audition in his trailer with Seth Rogen that one of the afternoons on their lunch break while shooting Knocked Up, which is pretty cool.
Something really similar happened with John Bernthal and Tom Holland when Tom was auditioning for the very first Spider-Man.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Gotta love those stories.
Yeah, it's very cool. Okay, you mentioned Skyfall. I wrote this one down because I remember you were saying that you were going to likely watch Skyfall again. Javier Bardem joked that his two best well-known films that he's done are Skyfall and No Country for Old Men due to the terrible hairstyles that he had in each movie.
He did have terrible blonde hair in Skyfall.
Yeah, he really did.
God,
pretty awful. All right, this is the big one. Okay.
Oh,
this is
the
for
one
all
you've
the
been waiting
true
for?
crime nuts. Yeah, this is for all the true crime nuts, including myself and Vee. Everybody needs to know this. This blew my fucking mind. Okay. In the novel, Sheriff Bell mentions that drug traffickers once shot and killed a federal judge in San Antonio. Do you remember that part in the beginning of the movie?
Yes.
All right. This parallels a real event that occurred shortly before the story's 1980 setting in this book, written by Cormac McCarthy. On May 29th of 1979, Judge John Howland Wood of the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Texas was assassinated in San Antonio, becoming the first federal judge murdered in the 20th century. The killer was Texas contract hitman Charles Harrelson, father of Woody Harrelson, who plays Carson Wells in this film. Harrelson was hired by drug trafficker Jamil Chagra, who feared Judge Wood's reputation for harsh sentencing, earning him the nickname Maximum John. Before the assassination, Harrelson had twice faced murder-for-hire charges, acquitted in 1970, and convicted in 1973, receiving a 15-year sentence but being paroled after 5.
What?
Harrelson was convicted of Judge Wood's murder in 1982 and received 2 consecutive life sentences without parole. He died in 2007 while incarcerated at ADX Florence Supermax in Colorado. His wife, Joanne Harrelson, received a 25-year sentence for conspiracy and perjury related to assisting him. Chakra was acquitted of conspiracy to commit murder for hire, but was convicted on his original drug trafficking charges in 1979. He was sentenced to 30 years in federal prison and was paroled in 2003 after serving 24 years. That is some shit.
Okay, I did know the aspect of Woody Harrelson's dad being a contract killer. I had no idea
did you?
about
I had
his
no idea.
mother, though. Holy
His mom being a co-conspirator.
shit.
I know, right? Man,
No wonder he smoked so much weed. God damn.
No, exactly. Exactly.
Whoa.
All right, and one final piece. You may notice at the end of the credits it says "Score" by Carter Burwells. There's only 16 minutes of music in this movie, most of it being at the end credits. There's one other piece that I really wanted to talk about because we talked about it when we were doing my Soderbergh episode last time. This movie is credited to editor Roderick James. Have you ever heard of Roderick James?
No, but Carter Burwell is a great composer, so that's cool you mentioned him.
Yeah. He's got some great stuff out there. So Roderick James is the pseudonym for Joel and Ethan Coen.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, who have co-edited, directed, and co-written all of their movies since Blood Simple from 1984.
Awesome.
Pretty awesome. V, what do you think the budget for No Country for Old Men was?
I was thinking it was really low budget, like $15 to $20 million.
All right, well, you were either off by 10 or off by 5 because it was a $25 million budget.
Okay. Yeah, I figured it was a little bit lower than Sicario for sure.
Domestic gross was $74.2 million. Damn. Worldwide gross, $171.6
Whoa,
million.
it did way better than Sicario.
Did
Holy shit.
really well. Yeah, especially overseas, which is pretty awesome. This movie was nominated for several Oscars. Those nominees were Best Picture, Best Performance by a Supporting Actor, Best Achievement in Directing, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Best Film Editing, Best Sound Mixing, and Best Sound Editing when they were still 2 different categories.
Yes.
And it won 4. It won Adapted Screenplay, and it won Supporting Actor for Javier Bardem. It also won Best Directing for the Coens, and won Best Picture of the Year in 2007.
That's right.
Yes. So that is No Country for Old Men. If you care to check it out, it is streaming on Paramount+. I watched my DVD copy, and I'd tell you right now, I would actually get a VHS copy of this one if I could find one.
It seems very fitting, that's for sure.
Definitely. So that is our Hitman Contemporary Western Josh Brolin Roger Deakins episode.
I know, right?
Hopefully that you guys enjoyed the episode. If you haven't seen these movies, please do check them out. They are absolutely worth your time. Watch them back to back. It's only 4 hours of your life.
I think they're really good when you are in the mood for this genre of movies. You could definitely watch both of these in the same week, and that would be kind of perfect.
I completely agree.
Unlike
and I watched them back to back, so it was pretty sweet.
Epic episode.
Yeah, unlike that. So next week's going to be interesting because it's just going to be interesting. V, why don't you tell everybody what your pick's going to be for next week?
You're not sure of that pairing yet, are you?
No, the pairing's good. It's just a weird genre pairing is all I'm saying.
Which we don't do very often. However, I have gotten good feedback that sometimes it is really nice to switch up the genres in case someone's in the mood for a specific type. So the next week we are I don't know if they could be more different, actually. But they are 2 movies starring Ashton Kutcher. I'm not a huge fan of his, especially as a human being. We can get into that next week. But I do like this movie, and I've seen your movie once before. I thought it was weird the first time I saw it in my 20s, so I'm really excited to revisit it since it has been about 20 years since I saw it. But that's okay because this movie is hilarious, and I love the supporting cast of characters much better than Ashton anyway, and they certainly outshine him. That is because it also stars Cameron Diaz and Queen Latifah, and a couple other great comedic actors who you'll totally recognize. This is What Happens in Vegas. So what Ashton Kutcher movie did you pick?
I picked a doozy. This one is from 2004, starring Ashton Kutcher and Amy Smart and a bunch of other character actors. There's also a younger Ethan Suplee in my pick, right. And an Eric Stoltz as well. This is a twisted flick that I saw in theaters and have been a fan of ever since. This is The Butterfly Effect.
I'm excited to revisit this film. I think I'll like it more, at least the premise now in this age versus my 20s.
I'm very curious what you will have to say about it this time. It is not streaming anywhere for free, but if you want to, you can rent it on Prime or Apple.
Both of those are very forgotten, underrated movies. I think that's going to be a really good episode for us.
Yeah, I agree. So that wraps up episode 220. Thank you guys for joining us on this wild goose chase. Both movies have a lot of cat and mouse aspects to them this week.
Great descriptor.
Check them out. They're worth it. So we'll see you guys next week. Please do rate, review, subscribe, follow us on all social media. And film is a form of art. And in art, all opinions are valid, except if you think.
Taylor Sheridan should continue writing spin-offs of the Yellowstone universe. He needs to stick with film screenplays. They're much better.
All right, well, I haven't seen a single of his shows, so I'll just take your word for it.
Thank you.
Oh, of course. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Cheers, everybody.
Bye-bye.